This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
You know how sometimes the first play of the game can be a real tone setter?
Aussie.
Yeah, I basically just went with Ashton Jen Teabag.
NFL.
He's not a walking 7 for 70 as I learned last week when he went 1 for 5.
Fantasy.
I'd probably lean towards taking Henry maybe ahead of McCaffrey just because of what I've seen.
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. Loading.
Australia's premier NFL fantasy football show is back for the Aussie Gridiron Network. This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. They call me Matty C, and with me tonight, it's Australia's finest fantasy analyst. Welcome back, Taylor.
Matty, I missed last week, and I'll let yourself, Kevin, your brother, have all the fun. But screw all that shit. It is week 1. Let's go.
Come on, man. Fireworks erupt. Crowd goes, well, it's got to go wild. Can't go mild. We've been waiting for week 1, Tay, for so long. I wonder if it was ever going to come.
It feels too long, mate. You have so much prep work, and obviously we enjoy all the time that we talk about, obviously, our draft strategies and go into all the running back and quarterback and wide receiver rankings. And, you know, we go in, then we talk divisions and we get to retouch on some of the players that we might have had a change of heart or that we still really, really like. But in the end, it's all for this. It's all for week 1 that's coming up now. And, mate, I just cannot wait. All the prep work, it all comes down to this, mate. And I could not be more excited.
And it does. And NFL kicks off today, Friday, Aussie time, with the Philadelphia Eagles opening the season. Mate, opening the show, who is your little screen for my benefit and our guest benefit, and why?
Yeah, it didn't really go topical this week, mate. I just basically went through the archive of guys, and I basically wanted to pick out a guy that I actually ended up picking up in a lot of drafts. It was someone that I kind of got in the last couple of weeks that I have definitely been quite high on. I don't think I've been alone. Like, he's definitely been out there as a rookie that's getting touted, but just the one that I've brought up where I've just basically said that Moses is part of the C's of the wide receiver room, and Emeka Egbuka has basically been the biggest beneficiary of, like, I guess, preseason, or I guess with Godwin's sake, injuries from last year that they haven't come back from. So, yeah, I just think Egbuka's an awesome opportunity. He was literally my favorite receiver coming into the draft, and I initially didn't love his landing spot because I felt like he was behind 3 guys initially, but the fact is he's basically the wide receiver 2 for an amazing passing offense from the get-go. So I actually think it's wheels up for him straight away. Yeah, 100%. I mean, could anything have just landed more perfectly for him than it has? He comes in as maybe the wide receiver 4 in his team, and just these people just keep falling in front of him. So it's great to see that he's going to have a wonderful opportunity. We know that Baker's going to throw a million times, and I'm just looking forward to seeing how that offense runs, because I don't know that you necessarily lose a lot. They seem to continue to chuck the ball around last year, no matter who was away. So, yeah, as you say, all in on Egbuka, and it sounds like you got him in a few places, mate. Well, it was one of those things where it felt like the ADP didn't catch up in Sleeper. You know, sometimes like things change, you know, towards the end of draft season. I even noticed it with, like, say, Austin Eckler. I'm not saying Eckler's in the same vein as, say, Egbuka, but, you know, you had everything with Brian Robinson happen, and it's like the drafts can't turn around quick enough, so the ADP just stays low, and I felt like that was kind of like that with Egbuka. There wasn't really enough time for him to sort of go up quick enough, obviously, after like the Jalen McMillan injury, and then the knowledge that Godwin was going to be out till like sort of at least week 5, week 6. So yeah, I felt like he still represented value. He definitely went earlier than that ADP in leagues, but I was always kind of looking at him and going, you know what, I'm going to take him around even 2 earlier than what the ADP says, just to make sure I was securing him. But I still didn't feel like that was too high, because I was still getting him as my like wide receiver 3 or 4 in leagues. So I was very happy to do that.
Yeah, you want him in a position where you can see what he does and then have the luxury of being able to move him around. You don't want to be relying on him from the outset. Hey, mate, you know, G'day Gridiron is back this week to finish off the preseason. They're going to help open the season on an NFL standpoint. We're very much on the fantasy standpoint, but you can conquer all of us by joining the NFL tipping competition thanks to the Aussie Gridiron Network. It is hosted through the ESPN Footy Tips site, and you can find that at Linktree/Aussie Gridiron Network. It is the mothership for everything we do here on the network. You can win a nice, big, custom NFL jersey. Any player you like. You could even get a big Taylor 41 Titans jersey, right, mate?
Yeah, it would be pretty big, probably. You probably get For some of you might use it as a fucking blanket or a tent. So, yeah, look good. That'll look great in your house.
What'd be great is if I got one that was your size and I was wearing it. It just looked like I'm wearing my dad's kit. That's all. It'd be great. It looks 6 years old. Hey, mate, as per usual, got a couple of questions to kick off the show. I think you kind of half answered one. I was going to ask you what's up with Chris Godwin, but he's looking like he's going to be out for an extended period of time to start the year.
Yeah, look, look, he's going so late in drafts that he might not be the worst sort of guy to just sort of stash. The problem is he didn't get named on an IR, so I don't believe the sleeper app will actually allow you to put him in IR because, like I said, the team didn't put him there. They decided to sort of keep him off, even though he's going to miss the right amount of time to be on the IR. I think there's rules around like training, and they wanted to sort of ramp him up, so they decided not to put him on there. So that's a little bit of a buzzkill to taking him because you would have liked to have just stashed him on there so he wasn't taking up a bench spot. So, yeah, for me, I just think it's wheels up for the other guys like Mike Evans and Egbuka, and I'm not personally super excited because I do think that even when Godwin's back, he's going to come back slow, and we even saw this 2 years ago when he came back from the last bad injury he had. He didn't have a very good season following. So, yeah, I'm probably just going to let someone else sort of snag him at the end of drafts. I probably won't bother.
Yeah, not everyone heals quickly, mate. I certainly don't, but it's because I'm 43, so I don't know what Chris Godwin's excuse there is. But anyway, I don't have a share of him, and I know it's going to take a little bit of intestinal fortitude because designations matter. They are so key to how you can maneuver your roster. So make sure you keep your eye on what designations your platform takes. But yeah, we are very much a sleeper-friendly site, and if he doesn't have an IR designation, it can be very difficult to use your roster to the maximum capability. Mate, I saw during the week, Adam Thielen back in Minnesota. We happy about this?
Look down a Thielen. Yeah, I'm happy for him. Fuck me. I've never seen more fanfare over a guy that's going to be like the 60th best receiver in the league. It was crazy. I was happy for him because it was clearly more about the fact he was going home to Minnesota than anything. I do think he will be like at least have some relevance. I actually think the biggest thing is him going away from Carolina opens things up for Tet. And I was going to say Coca, but he's now on IR, but probably Leggett. So I think it's actually news more for those guys because I think Thielen would have actually demanded some kind of target share for them. It is interesting, at least for Minnesota, because you've got Addison obviously missing those 3 weeks as well for suspension. Yeah. So there isn't really another guy. So they kind of need him early in the season. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him have a good start. For anyone that takes a shot on him and he has an amazing first 2 weeks, please trade him because I don't think it's going to last. But I do think it's going to help the Vikings offense initially while they're waiting for Addison to come back.
Yeah, mate, I own no shares of Thielen, but gee, I've got some shares of Xavier Leggett now. So I'm pretty happy with myself there in the last few days. I've been going kind of warming on him anyway. And then when the whole shifting back to Minnesota came about, I'm like, yep, now's the time to move. Mate, look, I reckon it is a great opportunity to bring our guest on. It's the start of a whole new season, and everything we've been doing in the lead up now kind of shifts gears. We've got new segments. We've got new exciting things to do. And we've got a great new voice to do it with. Do you reckon we should bring Jackson in a second?
We've left him in the cage, mate. He's raring to go, so let's do it.
Okay. New guest coming up.
G'day, Gridiron.
Anyone that hasn't joined us before, it's pretty simple. Let's kick it off, eh? Is everyone ready?
The 4 horsemen of NFL in Australia.
If the sound ever plays, the pick is officially in.
Nick the lineman.
So it's the worst against any team, and it's also the worst passer rating that he has against any team at 66.3.
Brad the coach.
The Steelers have held the Ravens under 20 points in 7 straight games.
Isaac the analyst.
For this one, I couldn't understand it either. Like, I don't think they're making the playoffs.
Ian the Viking.
Full of passion, full of fight. They might genuinely be interesting to watch again.
Previews, overreactions, and bloody best bets.
If Derrick Henry can get rolling, then I think it's no contest. The Ravens are going to win.
As a fan of the NFL, you hope he comes back because he's just an absolute beast when he gets on there.
That would be able to give, at least Justin Fields a chance to be able to build.
Let's move on. After that insanity.
So I just think, though, it's going to stop here.
Defensively for the Bills, I don't think that's actually going to combat what the Chiefs do already.
Yeah, I guarantee Pete would get down on his knees for that.
G'day, Gridiron.
I love spreadsheets. I'm a spreadsheet man.
I love spreading my legs.
Twice a week, all season long on the Aussie Gridiron Network.
All right, thanks for the GG, guy, for the drop. Look, mate, I don't think we could think of a better person bringing for week one. It's another new guest. Like the amazing guests that we've had on this podcast so far have been phenomenal, but we've brought this guy into our group chat already. He's been absolutely raring at the bit to come onto the podcast, and he's already brought a lot to the group chat already. He's always sharing his different dynasty leagues and his different leagues that he's already drafted, and he's brought a lot even to that group. So I cannot wait to see what he brings to the podcast tonight. So welcome, Jackson.
Boys, thank you for having me. A bit of pressure there and that build up. I'm excited to deliver for you guys here.
Mate, you are everything that's been written on the bottle there, plus more so far from what we've had in the exposure to you in the chat. You've kind of brought this whole life and energy and a whole bunch of great experience and knowledge. It's been a blast having you in, man.
No, thank you, mate. Just a fantasy degenerate. You know, my wife knows that this next couple of months I'm not real active in my marriage, but she still loves me, so we're good.
Yeah, join the club. Tay, sound familiar?
Yeah, very. If my wife listens to this, she'll just be nodding her head along. I think she realises that she kind of loses her husband for about 16 to 17 weeks in fantasy season, and there's some seriously early wake-ups and looking at my phone and acting like I'm going back to sleep but never do. So, yes, it's 'tis the season, boys. I think we all can't wait.
I sleep on the couch on a Sunday night, so for any listeners out there, if you're new to NFL and you're married, just couch Sunday night, find a good couch, find a good setup, easy alarm, no bother, no trouble. You don't get yelled at 7, 8 o'clock when she comes down the stairs. So see yourself on the couch, have Game Pass ready, and just enjoy it the right way.
I was expecting to get tips for better living, but this is fantastic. Straight out of the gate, Jackson delivery.
Give your missus the bed on a Sunday night, boys. You stay married for longer. Words of wisdom.
I love it's like home NFL fantasy tips, like about how to deal with your marriage and how to live a better life, knowing that NFL fantasy is going to try and ruin it over the next few weeks.
Mate, we've all had a running back fumble over the goal line at 3 a.m. when you're trying to win a matchup, and the reactions that we give, sometimes we forget what hour it is, and depending on what sort of wife you've got, response can be different.
Need a soundproof room.
This is a man who's talking from experience. Hey, mate, you have a bit of an allegiance in the NFL, which means that you are up at ridiculous o'clock because the Packers kind of, they're often playing in a sort of an early window. It's a pretty hot division in there. Mate, does that taint your ability to be an impartial fantasy player?
No, mate, no. I'm that addicted. It's not funny. It's it controls me. It's my happy place. I don't know. I'm very grateful I work for myself, because if I had a job, there's not a chance I would hold it down. I'd be taking that many sick days to watch the 10 o'clock games on a Monday. So, mate, I froth it. I love it. I'm up at whatever hour I can. I'm a late bed getter too. So for those of you, there's no excuses if you're listening to this. I'm asleep at 11:30, 12, and my alarm's at 3. So. Sometimes you do it, and then you just live by it.
I was just going to say, I was laughing. I had a live draft for a league, well, technically 2 leagues that I commissioned, but it's the exact same guys in both leagues. So I basically did a live draft for both of them at the same time at the place that I work at. So that probably was a stupid decision just to begin with. But someone was asking me sort of how I sort of, juggle the work life and stuff. And I always say, it's funny, I seem to hit like 180% of my KPIs outside of NFL season. And then I only really need to hit about 30% during NFL season. And I hit my bonus in the end of the year. It just sort of evens out. So that's the way that I try and look at it. The production goes down a little bit during the NFL season, but in the end, it all works out.
The happiness it provides. I saw an interview with, I think it was Michael Bublé, and he openly on public, he said he would give one of his, they were Oscars for music, so he'd give them up just to win one of his fantasy leagues. Like, his wife just doesn't understand. And this coming from a guy who's the peak of his powers in a career, right? So if it happens up there, it happens down here. It doesn't matter who you are. Winning a league is just, we'd all get fired to win our best league. It means that much to us.
This is what we're talking about, though. We want to win fantasy leagues, right? And after all the draft season, we have talked every which way. We've cut it back, forth, sideways, diagonally to try and show you the best ways to get value out of players by position, players by division, players by what matchups they've got. Here we are now at week 1, and you've drafted, hopefully, a team that you're super, super happy with. But what we like to do each week in the fantasy season from now all the way through is to talk about who we expect to break out in any particular week and throw up a either exceptionally over the top sort of week in their position, or maybe just kind of surprise you and give you a score that you weren't expecting. And we've got we've got a player at each position who we're going to present each week to do that. Take the parameters for this. Is there any real specific thing you're trying to hit here?
There isn't really. So we obviously have other segments where we kind of break down guys that, are not well owned. So we kind of like to do a bit of both. Like, we don't want to only talk about lowly owned guys that might be on the end of people's benches, or because especially in week one, not everyone's looking for those like tough decisions, because generally everyone's just drafted their team. Everyone's basically playing the team in the order that they drafted it in. So it isn't so much about finding those deep shots. So what we also like to do is just talk about some guys that are well owned that we just think are going to actually over deliver on where you actually did draft them. So obviously we're not going to be bringing up like your Jamar Chases and stuff because he got drafted at wide receiver one. Yeah. It's like, hey, I'm on a podcast and I'm telling you guys what an awesome game Jamar Chase is going to have. What a fucking awesome analyst I am. So it's not so much about going that high either, but the idea is that you don't have to be going like ridiculously low either. It's really up to us to just pick a guy that, hey, this guy was drafted at wide receiver 30. I think he's going to have a performance that warrants more like a wide receiver 10 or above this week. It's just picking a bit of a breakout in week one based off matchup or whatever reason you want to give.
Yeah, cool. And Jackson, we've asked you to come and prepare for the same sort of thing. How do you sort of feel about preparing people for a player who may have a performance like that?
Yeah, good, mate. I mean, I've picked three that I think will be, rostered this week. I've got one that I don't think many will start unless you're in sort of 2 QB leagues, but
love it.
I'm excited. I've got some names here who some people are down on, and I just think they deserve a little bit more respect.
Ooh. Oh, we love that. Pump up the folks who may just be a bit short on love, but also we're generally talking to the person who's in a 10-team standard PPR kind of league, the kind of league you might play against family, office, teammates at a sports club, whatever. But more and more there are 2 quarterback leagues happening around at that sort of level as well. So it's important to talk about second cut quarterbacks. So I love that you're coming with a bit of that. Tay, where do we want to start?
Yeah, I figure we'll just start at the top of the list and go with quarterback. I haven't gone super far down the board, but it's probably at least the first guy that used to, you and I have talked about this guy in the past where we couldn't understand why he actually fit the starts of the week segment a few times, where he was basically like quarterback 4 halfway through the year, and yet he was still being started by less than 50% of people. He has been drafted a lot higher this year to sort of meet it, but I still just wanted to pinpoint this guy to why I think he's got a specifically awesome matchup this week. It's Baker Mayfield. It's up against the Falcons. They were 30th against the quarterback position in 2024. And I've sort of collated a few different sites in terms of because there isn't really one site you can base how good a defense overall is going to be. You've got your PFF. You've sort of got all these different sites. So I kind of broke down about 4 or 5 of the main ones and just kind of did an average just to break down where I think the defense is for this year. I just think this is an awesome opportunity for Baker. Yes, he has lost Godwin and Jalen McMillan, but I just think Egbuka comes in and just fills that role straight away. He's still got his absolute, mind meld with Mike Evans. So just those two by themselves, I think are going to get it done. I just think this offense is going to be able to move in general. Obviously, I'm not talking specifically about a Bucky Irving, but I think they're going to be able to run the ball too, which is only going to open up passing game situations for Baker against this offense. So I could just see this being a high-scoring shootout style of a game, and I think Baker could get himself off to a really hot start. So I'll just put a number on it. I think he'll be a top 3 quarterback this week.
Top 3! Oh, I love this. Jackson, you're not looking at the very top part of the tree, but you've got a quarterback who we should just kind of keep an eye on, especially if we're playing 2 quarterbacks. This is someone who you think can really sort of, shake the cage a bit, yeah?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm a big super flex guy. So when I was looking at my guy this morning, I think a lot of people don't put respect on effort. And so I've gone with Sam Darnold. I've gone left field Sam Darnold.
Oh, this won't be popular.
He was outstanding last year, and everyone's attached to this New York Jets Sam Darnold stigma, and no one's good at the Jets, right? I'm a Packers fan. Look what they did to Aaron. Granted, Aaron's 90 years old, but no one's good at the Jets. And so everyone's got this stigma of Sam Darnold doing what Sam Darnold did at the Jets. He was outstanding last year with people to throw to. Now, I'm not saying start him in a 1 QB league. I'm speaking specifically 2 QB. I'm speaking super flex. He's ranked 28th. Mate, they've got some weapons there. I'm a big fan of Cooper Kupp being there. Obviously, I enjoy what they've got. Smith and Jigba's good. They've got 2 good running backs. And I just think against San Fran, it'll be a shootout. I think it'll be high scoring on both ends. And I just think Sam Darnold's going to be a top 16, top 15, top 16 guy this week. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 10. I'm just saying I think he could be well and truly inside of top 16, top 18. I've got him for 250 in the air, and I've got him 2 touchdowns passing. I think it's not outstanding numbers, but I think from where he's being drafted, he's sitting down at, like guys that aren't even, right? Guys that aren't even starting in their team, right? Like Riddler, people like this. Like, come on, mate. Like, there's a little bit of disrespect on a guy who was outstanding last year. What did he finish, QB6 or something? So we've seen what he can do on one season. And, Mini are a lot better than Seattle. But I think the weapons at Seattle, Cooper Kupp's a very good guy. Smith and Jigba's going to stand out. 2 good running backs. I just think Sam Darnold will creep up on a little people. The redhead's just not getting the love he deserves after a season that was well respected.
I mean, we all think that Jackson Smith-Njigba is going to be in the first part of wide receiver 2, right? That's where he's getting drafted. We've got that confidence in him now, but his quarterback is like, don't talk to me about his quarterback. And it's a difficult thing to put those 2 things together. So you got to have weeks where your quarterback does perform well. Hey, why not this week, right? Why not?
It is. And I want to be different. I didn't want to sort of name, there's too many good quarterbacks, and I think they'll all have very similar weeks. But there's a lot of talk on San Fran. Will San Fran, won't San Fran? They don't know. Brock doesn't have many people to throw to, so Seattle might get the ball a lot. So I just think Darnold's he's just going to show some people that he's not what he was in New York.
Yeah.
I don't mind him. I think he deserved his respect after last year, and I think he'll show it.
I love this. Tate, do you love this?
It fits perfectly because the whole idea of the segment isn't to just go, I think a high-end guy's going to be a bit better than he's meant to be. It is just finding a guy that, like you said, he was drafted as a quarterback 28. You don't need to come out and say, he's going to be a top 5 quarterback. You just need him to essentially to break out and give you value on your draft pick for this actual segment. So if he is like a quarterback 15 and you've drafted him at quarterback 28, he fits exactly what we mean when he's breaking out. So it's a great call because there are a lot of Superflex players out there, us included. I think Kev got us into about 18 fucking Superflex leagues this year. So, mate, that was very, very good to bring him up because, it fits a different style of player than obviously I brought up. So anyone listening needs a starter, go for Darnold because he's going to bring you better value than what you drafted.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing, right? He's super valuable in that respect. And what is your second quarterback in standard Superflex going to look like? You've probably got Darnold as your third, but if there's a week where you think he can produce as your second, give him the bash. That's kind of the position I've got my quarterback in. I think this is actually better than that. I think the quarterback I've got is someone who no one would be drafting to start as a 1-quarterback league, but this is a week where I'm really striding. He's going to finish as a top 10, maybe 10, but top 10 fringe quarterback this week because I just think Flacco, he may not have a very good offensive line, but the Bengals have got nothing at all in that secondary, and I think they're going to score enough points that Cleveland will have to toss it around to catch up. So I reckon there's a great chance Flacco can throw you the 3 touchdowns plus the yardage this week. Great thing about Sleeper as well is it only costs you 1 point if he throws an interception, which he's kind of likely to do, but it is a small penalty. So I've got Flacco versus Cincinnati throwing 3 touchdowns and being on the fringe of the top 10. So again, multiple quarterbacks or opportunity to start multiple quarterbacks. I feel like he's a can't miss this week.
I imagine in week 1, if he throws 3 touchdowns, he will be in the top 10 because it's what you often find is the deep. It's just kind of like this in the NRL too. I was having a chat with someone on the weekend.
I love this.
Defenses generally come into years well more prepped than offenses. It's just the way things are. Offense seems to be obviously a lot more technical. Like this isn't me trying to downplay people on defense. I understand there's different schemes and things like that, but just generally, like you see it in the NRL, like teams seem to work on their defense. They've never been fitter. They come out of a preseason and they come out and they hit hard, and generally that falls off as the years goes on. It's the same in the NFL. I feel like defenses are actually a lot more prepared in week 1. And everyone hasn't lost a game, so everyone thinks they can win the Super Bowl, so they come out raring to go. So I feel like if he throws 3 touchdowns, I would be surprised if this is a super high-scoring week. I could be wrong, but I do think if you get that right, he's definitely going to be in the top 10.
The next position here, we want to move to his running back, Tay. Do you have somebody to kick us off at running back?
I do, and he was like literally probably second on my list of most running backs drafted this year, and he's just something that I think he's definitely been completely underrated in drafts, and I haven't really understood why he's taken a hit from where he finished last year. But it's more specifically about the matchup he gets in week 1-2. So I think he can get off to a very hot start. It's Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, that's Chuba Hubbard.
The Jags are second last against the running back position in 2020.
We're not that good.
and then basically, like I said, I correlated a few different sites of their defense, and they're basically ranked 27th across all those sites of their defense this year. That might be too high. I think this defense is going to get ran on and thrown on. Typically, I think with that offensive line the Panthers have put together this year, top 10 in PFF, I think Chuba's going to be able to run amok on this Jacksonville team. So I think he's off to a flyer, and that's obviously very good for me personally because I've drafted him fucking everywhere. So there might be a little bit of bias, but I think all the stats are there for
really
very good week 1.
I also had him as my breakout here, and I said I just thought he'd score 2 touchdowns. I don't know what else will happen, but I think he'll just pound him in. What do you got for him?
I had him as being a top 5 back. He was drafted as running back 18 this year, so I felt like just picking him at the running back 5, top 5 this week. I think that's definitely at least goes on the bullish side to show that he's a breakout. So yeah, I think he's in for a good game in this one.
Top 5 or 2 TDs. I think that shows we back him. Jackson, what are you doing there? You in on the Chuba train?
I've got him in 2. I think the only thing that helps him is what sort of Bryce Young we get. We got this new young kid who's going to come out and just start launching the pill and using his new receivers, or is he timid and going to be handing it off? So I think Chubb's going to do what he's going to do. You know, I think he's a solid pick. Top 5, but I think he'll be solid.
Who have you got for the running back, mate?
I've gone Alvin Kamara. I've thrown it back to he's one of my originals. I love this guy. When he's healthy, he is sick. Yeah. You know, he's ranked at the 12th this week. They got Radler and the rookie South playing at the quarterback. I don't think either of those can throw the ball any good. I could throw the ball better than those guys. So Kamara is going to get the pill. He's going to run the pill. I don't like the Cardinals at all. I don't respect the Cardinals. I don't like Kyler Murray. I'm against everything Arizona, and I think Kamara's going 100 plus and a touchdown.
Fuck Arizona.
He's going to feed that matchup, and Kamara will be a top 5 guy this week.
Jeez, what did Arizona do to you? That's what I want to know. Show me on the doll where Arizona touched you.
No respect for him, mate. I don't like him, so I don't know why.
Like the South Park blame Canada. Blame Arizona.
I'm not in on the Kyler Murray hype. I don't like him as a player, so maybe it stems down from that. So
yeah, us 6'6" plus guys, Jackson, we can't stand all the guys walking around there at their kneecaps, right?
Those little guys.
Yeah. Be gone.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? Someone's got to clean shoes, okay? And that's us. That's the market, all right?
He might be doing that soon if he doesn't start playing better.
He might. Kamara, Kev gave me this great stat recently that Kamara's never had a 1,000-yard rushing season, but I don't think he needs one. I just imagine that he'll get enough dump-offs. And this is just a lot of business as it used to be because, the quarterback situation there has not been great since Breeze retired, and he continues to throw up fantasy points. It's not about whether they win games, it's about fantasy points. He's just got enough ways to kill you. I don't have any nerves about.
I just think he's too relied on. He's too relied on, right? Like Olave's coming off the injury. We don't know what's going on there. They literally have nobody else to throw to, and the quarterbacks can't throw. So I just don't see a situation where Kamara does not get fed.
Plus, like anything negative about him is the exact negative things you would have said about him coming in the last year, the year before that. Like it would have just all been about quarterback play, the shit O-line, like the fact that like he's just not going to have a good yards per carry, blah, blah, blah. It never seems to matter. Like Matty just brought up, he doesn't have 1,000-yard seasons on the ground anyway, yet he still ends up like a top 10 back because he gets so many receptions, and I don't understand why that wouldn't happen again this year. Like, yeah, he might not have 1,000 on the ground, but he's probably going to have 1,500 all-purpose yards and a shitload of catches. So it's gonna be one of these ones where you don't want to watch it. It's going to be like, just do not turn on a Saints game. Just look at the box score at the end of the game and just hope he's gone like 8 for 82 in the air.
Yeah. And about 50 yards rushing will be fine.
Exactly.
You got a line you would put on it here, Jackson? Do you have like a...
I said 100 plus yards and a touchdown.
Oh, 100 plus.
He's going 100 plus. He's the only guy. I got 100 plus rushing, or I got 140 rush receive.
Oh,
Going big. I might even do a multi on it.
Doing the multi. Tay, I was about to say that.
All right, it's just multi them all up.
Let's move into the wide receiver because I'm on the tuber train, so we don't need to dwell on that. I'm going to throw to you first, Jackson. Do you have a wide receiver that you're just licking your chops over this week?
I do, mate. I think he's.
Tell me about it.
He's breaking out this year. There's been a lot of hype. His name is DK Metcalf. He has not done what he should have done since he's been in the NFL. He's got all the potential in the world. He's got a gorgeous body. Right, this boy needs to use this to his advantage, and I could be slightly Packer biased, I don't know, but Aaron's still got a little bit of something left in that arm.
Does he?
There's nothing in the legs, but they're playing the Jets. Aaron's going to be angry. He's going to want his revenge, right? New York didn't like him. He didn't like them, and I think DK is going to be itching to get a little bit of that, and I think Aaron's just going to feed him all he can. So the line I put on DK, I went big here. I went 120 and 1. Yeah, we saw the Jets last year. Well, what are they going to do? They're not going to do anything. Aaron, we all know he holds a grudge. Nah, but Aaron knows the source tricks. Aaron was there. Aaron's analytical. You know, he understands everything. And if his arm is healthy, I think this is the year that DK finally gives us a little bit of that something that we expected 2 or 3 years ago. That athleticism, the prowess. He's a very good player in the air, and I think he's finally got a quarterback that can put the ball. Whether Aaron can run or not, whether he's 50 years old or not, he can still put the ball on a dime. He can put it where he wants with the flick of a wrist, and I think DK is going to enjoy the benefits of that.
Fuck, Tay, 120 and a tutty. You in?
I'm going.
Yeah, I said this to you, Matty. I kind of started to get a bit more into DK Metcalf as the preseason went on. I wasn't into him, especially when Pickens was still there.
Yeah.
When I got rid of Pickens, I started to think, okay, I still didn't love DK Metcalf's upside this year. I just didn't think, I thought there'd be too many games where the Steelers just are in game scripts where they can run the ball and they don't need Aaron to throw for a shitload of yards. So it wasn't so much a DK Metcalf problem. It was just a problem, the fact of Arthur Smith just wanting to run the fuck out of it. So, yeah, I'm fine by saying that he has a breakout in week 1 because I think he's going to need to be everything for this passing offense.
That's true. Have you had a scroll down the list on fantasy sites to see who the second wide receiver in Pittsburgh is? I haven't.
Roman Wilson's sort of getting the biggest buzz, but how many snaps did he play last year? 4?
Yeah.
It was like he didn't
Calvin Austin.
Yeah.
Tay, we need your wide receiver here, mate.
Matty, I've been telling you this for a few weeks now, especially since the Rice suspension. I've got a feeling in my plums, Matty. I've got a feeling in my plums that we're going to be sitting here after 4 weeks and we're like, fuck me, is Xavier Worthy wide receiver 1 on the season so far? I don't know. It was the way he finished last season. I brought it up on the Supercoach pod. He's a guy I'm looking at as a pod. Supercoach, because of just the rapport he seemed to actually get with Mahomes, and his numbers would have been far better if he didn't have these rookie pains where for whatever the fuck reason he just kept stepping out. The amount of massive plays he had because of his speed, and he just put a fucking toe on the line, and you're like, if he just gets that little bit of his game right, there is some way bigger plays I think up for grabs for him. And I've just got some stats in those last 3 games. I'd already sort of, like I said, spoke about on the Supercoach pod, but in the last 3 games of the season, he was 4 for 46 and 3 for 30 on the ground. That's another point of this. He gets groundwork, which is awesome. It just gives him an extra sort of, part of his game to actually get your fantasy points. I keep going back and forth between Supercoach and fantasy, Matty. We're doing too many fucking podcasts.
Anyway, it's a remix. Oh my god!
He had a touchdown, so massive game for him there. He also had 7 for 65 in week 16 for a touchdown and 3 for 10 on the ground. Then he had 8 for 79 and a touchdown and 2 for 10 on the ground. So he had a touchdown in all 3 of his last games, and he just seemed to have a great rapport with Mahomes. And this isn't so much about the matchup specifically for me in this one. The Chargers were 17th against the wide receiver position in 2024, and they've got a 15th ranked defense according to all those sort of sites I've done. So it isn't so much that I'm targeting the defense specifically. It's just a feeling that I think Worthy's worked his way into being that clear wide receiver 1, and I'm just thinking that the Chiefs, I know that everything worked for them last year, got them to the Super Bowl, but I'm just wondering if they might want to take a couple of shots deep in week 1 to sort of signal something different for them this year. And I think that'll be through Worthy, and he's definitely got the most juice in that receiving core, put it that way.
Hey, you got a line you want to put on this one, Tay?
Yeah, I've got him. I sort of always tried to aim the line, especially for week one, based kind of off where they were going in ADP. So it was going sort of around that. It was probably not that far away from Metcalf. It was kind of like mid-20s, like 25 to sort of 26, 27. So I put him as a top 10 wide receiver this week. I feel like he's in for a week. And like I said, I've got this weird premonition that he's going to be sitting there at wide receiver 1 after 4 weeks. So you can put that in as an incredibly bold take if you really want to. But for this week, I'm going to go wide receiver 10 and above.
It's going to chalk you down for being very wrong about wide receiver 1 after 4 weeks. Okay, done.
There's a pretty good chance of that.
If we didn't want to be wrong a lot, we wouldn't be analysts. I mean, this is the thing. You got to stick your chin out a lot, and you're going to be wrong a lot. So,
like, if you're going to be wrong, you might as well stick your chin way out there.
Well, yeah, you get a chin way out here, like Bill Laurie's nose. Fantastic. Mate, I'm not going to stick my chin Bill Laurie nose length out, but I'm actually going to the Eagles game, which is the game that's playing on the Friday, and I'm going to the guy who looks the most like me, Devonta Smith. He looks like he's fair dinkum wearing his dad's kit. He's about 14 kilos soaking wet. Stiff fart could blow him over. But you know what I like about him? He just is gritty. He finds a way. It's just sort of shifty in space. He's quick to separate. And he's got good little hands on him. And defense for Dallas is it's losing a little bit of its pass rush. I feel like this will be a year where Philadelphia are not going to be sad about like putting Dallas to the sword in week 1 and just killing them by 40-10 if they can. But I think there's going to be a little bit more impetus on getting the passing game to work. We know that Jalen Hurts is struggling a little bit with a couple of injuries through the year last year. And, I mean, he only threw for, what did we decide it was? 2,500 yards and 18 touchdowns? Mate, he is not going to be that sparse on passing numbers this coming year. Everybody in that passing game has the opportunity to take their uptick. So I'm going to say it's going to be Devonta Smith in week 1 because he's going to have the second corner. He's a very great little catcher. I'm going to say that I expect he's going to end up with one of those weeks where he has like the 100 yards and the touchdown kind of game, which will outrun AJ Brown. And I think he could wind up with as many as 18 fantasy points. I'm going to put a fantasy point number on it, 18 plus. At wide receiver, which should see him comfortably inside the top 10.
I almost put Jalen Hurts as my quarterback, and I'm like, fuck, that's a bit too high. It's like I'm taking the quarterback 4. It's like, but I just really feel like he is going to fucking destroy that Cowboys defense. If you can even call it defense, like, I honestly think they are going to put up points really quick on that Cowboys team. So, like, the only problem you ever find with Hurts is sometimes, like, Saquon might run in 1 or 2 or something, and then all of a sudden they're up 24-0 or 24-7, and that's the problem, I guess, with Devonta Smith too, is they kind of get this weird game script in the second half where they're in front and they don't have to do much with it, and they've got this amazing offensive line and they can just run the ball the entire second half. So that's always your case against like a Devonta Smith breakout. But I guess for you, at least the Dallas offense appears to be very good this year. So the hope is that they can keep up, and then that obviously forces Hurts to keep passing. So, mate, I don't think you can get a better matchup. That defense is just a puddle of piss.
I don't even think that it matters. I think week 1, standalone game, Super Bowl champions playing at home. If you have the chance to put 60 up on anybody, you would, especially fucking Dallas. Well, let's move to the tight end, or the loose end potentially. Where do you want to go with this one?
I feel like this guy, I mean, I almost snagged him in our Astro draft and then decided to trade for him because I just thought he was just being like undervalued completely. It's funny because I think it was when we had Gabe on, we kind of dissected the numbers on this guy and we figured he needed like awesome quarterback play to actually be relevant. And then we kind of dissected it and realized he didn't. But it's always a help, especially with the connection he's had with this quarterback that's come back to the team. I won't foreskin this any longer. I'll say it. It's David Njoku. He gets his boy Joe Flacco back. And the fact that they're playing the Bengals, who I'll just go through the stats last year about where they finished against tight end last year. Where was it? Fucking last. They were last against the tight end position.
700th.
And I could not believe this. I did my little dive into the defenses this year. Apparently, this Bengals defense is ranked 24th in the league this year. Apparently they got rid of a bunch of teams, and there's only 24 teams in the league now, Matty C, because this defense is an absolute pile of dicks. Like, they are not going to be able to stop anything. Everyone talks down the Browns in terms of not wanting their assets, but in week 1 against this Bengals team, it doesn't matter who's playing them. They're going to be able to air the ball out, especially with Flacco, who does not give a fuck. just gets in there and slings that thing. Like, he is going to find Njoku in so many moments. I had a draft on the weekend where I took Kittle in the 4th, and then it got to like the 11th round and no one had taken Njoku. And I was like, you know what? I'm just taking Njoku as well. Because I wanted to play keep away from the rest of the league because I think he's being underrated. So I think he's in for a massive week in week 1 against this defense. And I just think in general, he's kind of getting left for dead at tight end. And I don't understand why. Like, he's an awesome target of mine. Like, he's exactly where I normally target tight ends anyway. And I don't think he should be seen that way. I think he should be seen higher.
I mean, who's the best quarterback he's ever played with? Let's do a quick stock take here.
It's probably Flacco.
Isn't that horrible? Reason to believe?
Yeah, it's definitely not the version of Deshaun fucking Bill Cosby that he got. So, Jesus.
Hey, Jackson, you got a tight end that we can all sort of bank on this week?
Oh, baby, you can bank on him all year. He is the second most owned player in all of my leagues collectively, and that is Evan Ingram. Ooh. I think this boy is going to shred. He is sick. Bo Nix is sick. Sean Payton is sick. Cortland Sutton is fading. I think Ingram is going to be Bo Nix. I think Ingram's Bo Nix's savior. He's going to be running cross routes and short routes, and he's just going to be everywhere. I was looking at 8 to 10 catches this week. I think he's just going to be. I mean, they're playing Tennessee. I think a rookie quarterback. I don't know what we're going to see. I like him as a rookie quarterback. He's got a good mindset, but I don't know what he's going to put on. Denver's defense is also sick. Yep. So I just think Broncos are going to have a lot of ball. I think Nix is. It's his second year, right? So I still think he's not just going to come out and launch the ball deep. I think he's going to look for his checkdowns and his close routes, and I think Ingram's just going to be the beneficiary of that. He's a smart football player. I've got Ingram finishing 5th in the overall season at tight ends. But this year I got him as a top 3 this week. Big on Ingram this year.
Because when you look at the people who were drafted as the top 3 tight ends, it's muscling one of them out.
Yeah,
or more than one maybe. Like
McBride's in that team we spoke of earlier with that quarterback who I don't speak of. It's Bowles, it's Kittle, and it's Ingram, baby.
X-Nate on the Arnold's K. Sheesh.
I'm all in on the Ingram train this year. I think top 3 this week, top 5 on the season.
Mate, I can't believe that Evan Ingram, a third life. I mean, after that nice start in New York, he has a great year down in Jacksonville, and here he is up in the hills, hopefully primed to kick it off to make Jackson look very, very clever. I'm also going for I want to look very, very clever move. And when I look at teams defending tight ends, and I'm looking for week matchups, I go straight to the one team who haven't been able to defend a tight end since 1996. It is, Tay?
The Raiders?
It's the Raiders. Has anyone in this room remembered a time when Las Vegas could defend a tight end? Because, I mean, I don't know. I'm 40 and I can't. The man in that offense who, he was actually surprisingly better than I think people expected, considering that he was also sharing some of that role with Austin Hooper. They combined for over 100 targets last year, and it was Hunter Henry who was the beneficiary of a lot of that. He ended up with more than 60 receptions. He led their group in touchdowns, and I just feel like, you only need him for a week, right? This is the point of this segment. No troubles. He's against a team who historically really struggle in the middle of the field defensively, and it would not be difficult for him to outscore his current, PPR projection on Sleeper is only 7.9 points. I reckon 14. Let's give him 14 points. That's touchdowns, some catches, some yardage. I don't feel like that's out of the realm for Hunter Henry in a position of, scarcity, and in an offense where they're picking on a very weak part of a defense that has been culturally bad, like not just one administration, but 15 administrations in a row bad. So that's my case.
That Hunter Taylor or Henry Mason from last week's show.
So 2 first names a crowd pleaser or 2 surnames a crowd pleaser? That brother of mine, Sharp, and he does a great dolphin sound, by the way, if anyone caught that.
I was pissing myself at that.
I can't believe he just did it.
Just on the spot. Anyway, we digress.
14 points for Hunter Henry. Jackson, yay, nay?
I like it, and I don't know if it's... I just think I like Drake May. I think Drake May's a bad dude. I like the kid, and I don't know if Stephon Diggs is going to be, alive, breathing, out of jail. No one knows what's going on with that guy. So I can see it. I think it'll be a shootout. I think the Raiders are going to be solid this year. I like what they've put together, but I like what Patriots have put together as well. So I can see it. Yeah, I'll ride it with you.
Let's summarise this. Tay, you've got Baker Mayfield as the top 3 quarterback this week. Chuba Hubbard as the top 5. I also jumped in on that, but I'll talk about that in a sec. Xavier Worthy as a top 10 wide receiver. And David Njoku, tough to go top positions, tight end, but you reckon 15 points. Jackson, I love your debut in this segment. Sam Darnold, 2 quarterback play, top 16. Love it. Solid number 2 quarterback. Alvin Kamara, give him 100-plus yards rushing. In fact, give him 140 all-purpose yards. I love that. Probably scoring a touchdown if he's doing all that. DK Metcalf, 120-plus a touchdown. And Evan Ingram is the top 3 tight end to kick off the year. Oh, there's some spicy stuff in there. I'm going to need a drink of water before I read down mine. I've got Joe Flacco as a top 10 quarterback. Very helpful for 2 quarterback leagues. Chuba Hubbard, I've said he's going to get 2 touchdowns against that Jags defense. Devonta Smith, 18-plus points in a carve-up of the Cowboys. And Hunter Henry, 14 points. It's our breakouts for this week, fellas. How good's that? Done.
Like an oath.
I like it.
This is a fun new segment that we're going to do week on week as well. Tay, we've been doing a Taylor Talk segment year after year. This year, we've just kind of sprinkled in a little bit more fun. Talk us through what's happening with the old Taylor Talk segment. It's a game now.
Yeah, look, first it was that wanker Dr. Good Call, and we got him disbarred. And then it was Taylor Talk last year. And I came into this year, Matty C, and we obviously had the Taylor Talk from last year where I was delving into players that often would come up on the Starts of the Week segment. And we basically decided that the players that I brought up in my little segment couldn't then be used in that. And it was like, you know what? It's kind of annoying. Like, we're basically talking about the same things twice. And it wasn't just that. It was more about the fact that the guest kind of had to stay silent or sort of ask me a random question here and there. And that's kind of not the point of why we have a guest on. We want them talking and we want them being a part of the podcast. So I felt it was kind of stupid for me to just be sitting there wax lyrical about a few guys when we're going to be talking about it on Starts of the Week on Sunday anyway. So sort of put the one brain cell I have together and came up with a little game that we'll be previewing tonight.
I cannot wait. Mate, the segment that we're going to run with has got a special flavour to it about it's kind of like similar to a TV show that's pretty popular in the afternoons here on Australian TV. What are we doing?
So we called it Taylor's Tipping Point. Probably didn't need my name in it, but we just decided
it does. It does. It's like Burst fucking Family Feud, mate.
But I'll be self-proclaimed. I'll be the one obviously going against the guest every single week. But basically the idea of it is neither me or the guest knows which names are coming. So you're going to basically bring up 5 different fantasy relevant players one by one. And what will happen is we will then essentially throw out, I guess, like an auction, like a bid. And I might say, you just bring up, I don't know, just any player, Calvin Ridley, blah, blah, blah. And I say, I believe Calvin Ridley's going to score over 5 fantasy points. And then Jackson would say, I think he's going to score over 8. And we basically go back and forward. And then all of a sudden it might be a 13. And I go, you know what? Jackson said it's going to be over 13. I think it's going to be under. So I basically say, I think it's going to be under. And that stops. So basically, then it's a game between me and Jackson then of if Calvin Ridley goes over 13, he wins that point. And if he goes under, I win. So we play 5, obviously, so there's guaranteed to be a winner. And then we'll sort of do a little scoreboard. It's essentially me against the guest every single week.
Yeah, but this is going to be like whoever wins the week wins like the game. It's not like you win 3-2, so you go into the next week leading 3-2. You go in leading 1-0. It's like a test match.
It's because obviously it's a different guest every single week.
Yeah.
Like the idea isn't that, if Jackson was to lose, say 5-0 or whatever, it shouldn't then affect obviously the next guy coming on, blah blah blah. Or
trails by 1 then.
It's the same. We win 5-0, the same as winning 3-2. It's just a bit of fun, and we'll just score it 1 by 1 as the year goes on.
Okay. And the fun bit about this is that I've been charged with being the person to nominate the players. So you've got no idea what's coming. Jackson, sure as shit, doesn't know what's coming. But I've tried to pick guys who I think will be a little interesting. They've either got interesting matchups or they're people who are a little bit iffy in the pre-draft process, like the preseason drafting process. So I've kind of gone for, just kind of gone for guys who are spicy, I guess. What do young people say? Vibe check on this one. It's going to be hot.
We're the wrong people to ask about the Urban Dictionary, Matty. See,
I work with all these people in their 20s. I try to keep up. I can't. What can I say?
Oh, that's lit.
I think that was about 2021, say. I think that's how long ago that was. Jeez. Jackson, can you help us out?
I think we have to say cap. I think cap's a pretty big word. So once we get to the point where one of us wants to go unders, I think you got to call cap.
Oh, there we go.
The young'uns will relate to that, mate. I'm about 4 years younger than you guys, so I'm in with them.
Yeah, they see it. Hello, fellow young children.
Yes. Okay. So, parameters set. There's going to be 5 guys. I'm going to be the one nominating. I'm going to start with a wide receiver. And I'm going to start with Chris Olave. He's a wide receiver who we've talked about. He's a little bit iffy just in an earlier segment where we're talking about the Saints. And they're playing against the Do Not Respect the Cardinals. He's currently he's projected to play this weekend. Tay, do you want to kick us off with an opening bid on Chris Olave's fantasy score this week?
Right. I think he'll score over 4 points.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll go.
Yeah.
I think we'll get over 6.
Over 6?
I think he'll go over 7.
Over 10.
I'll take it. I'll call cap.
On 10?
Yeah.
On 10. Okay, he's projected for 13.43 on Sleeper full PPR. So this is an unders, and we've got Jackson 10. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable. I don't know. There's just I need to see Olave first. I'm not sure about it. Like you said, I could just get funneled all to Kamara.
How high were you willing to go there, Jackson?
I would have capped at 12.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I was close.
I was like, if I go to 11 or 12, I'm just worried I'm going to be stuck with Olave. I was like, I'll just call cap at double figures.
Having done some auction drafting this year too, I think Tay and I are both a bit spooked after watching.
Exactly.
This only counts if he plays the full game, right? If he hurts himself in the first week. First snap.
That's it does give you the lean towards unders, right? Like, yeah, if it's something in like the first quarter, I'm happy to scrap it. The only problem is like then we might end up 2-2, and it's just like, oh well, we just had a draw. But
0.5. I think we'll have to cross the bridge.
If it's like literally the first quarter, then it's obviously a wash. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we'll have to cross that bridge. That may come up. But we think, if they play into the second quarter, it's probably got to count. That's a significant enough amount of time to say they played. Okay, let's switch positions here. We've got 10 Jackson with 10 or more for Chris Olave against the Cardinals. Let's move to a tight end. Tay, I'm going to give Jackson the opening bid on this one. It's Sam Laporta for Detroit at the Packers. Close to the man's heart. He's going to start with a really low bid, I reckon.
No. I think this will be a shootout game. So I'm going to start Laporta at over 6.
All right. I'll go over 8.
I'll take. Again, I'm comfortable with the 10. I'm taking over 10. 10 or over.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll go over 11.
Here we go. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
I'll take over 12.
Oh!
All right, I'll call cap.
Oh, I love this. That was tense. That was I could feel it was palpable.
I was getting close, but yeah. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, Tom. So I think there's just a chance of a 50, 60 yard catch for Laporta. So we'll take it.
It's one of those ones where I'm like, I could see it. If he scores a touchdown, he's going over it kind of thing. It's like, I'm just taking the shot that he doesn't score a touchdown, I think.
So fluky, isn't it? With tight ends especially, so fluky. The projection for Sam Laporta on full PPR sleeper this week is 10.46 as well. So
low for him, isn't it? Huh?
Who wants to play with the quarterback? Tay?
Go.
Opening bid for you on, don't know if you've heard of this guy, Patrick Mahomes at the LA Chargers.
Ooh,
opening bid.
Interesting. All right, I'll say over 12.
I'll go over 15.
Over 17.
There's some beard stroking going on here. Jackson's really thinking hard.
I'll take over 18.
Oh, it's getting real close to that line, right? I feel like I'm just all unders at the moment. It's like,
Yeah, you sad
I feel like I'm
sack,
just
you
hating
negative
on people.
bastard.
It's a weird game. Yeah, I'll go to 19.
All right, I'll cap it then.
Yes, I got it over.
I wanted to, but
I feel like because of the Xavier Worthy love, I feel like I kind of have to lock myself in. I kind of want a Mahomes game, right?
Wow. Taylor goes for the 19 plus. Are you sure you didn't want to still push to 20? Are you sure?
I was close.
I was close to saying cap on 18. To be honest.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly, I think the Worthy thing sort of clouded my judgment a little bit. If he'd said 20, I would have gone cap. So I wasn't going.
Yeah, his projection on Sleeper this week is 19.27. So there you go. Yeah, super interesting. I like that. Gee, I thought you were going to hit the button, Jackson. I really did.
I was close, but it was the opposite of right. Like, obviously, he needed to go for the Worthy thing because it was his guy earlier, but then it's also who else is he going to throw to? So, the under 19 could be a possibility on the simple fact that there's not a whole lot of sexy options there, is there?
Watch Worthy have 3 rushing touchdowns. And Mahomes doesn't even.
Fucking could you imagine it? All right, I'm going to go to a running back. So that's all the 4 major positions, and I've got one little wild card in my pocket for the 5th one. Running back, and I'm going to go to you first, Jackson, is Breece Hall, running back for the New York Jets against Pittsburgh. We talked about the Pittsburgh thing a little earlier with the Jets. Where do you want to start the bidding on Breece Hall, total score, full PPR against Pittsburgh in New York?
Over 10.
Whoa. Funny one at Breece Hall. I feel like he's going to be more relevant in the air. It's kind of like a Kamara, I think. I think he's going to be way more relevant in the air than he is on the ground. I'll go over 11.
Oh, just a 1.
Yeah, he's a teaser, this guy. I'll go over 12.
Look at you two, edging just slowly.
I'm going to go cap. I'm going to go cap on 12.
Cap on 12?
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. These two have been between him and Braylon Allen through the preseason. They pretty much split the workload, and Allen looked to be a little bit more efficient. But I don't know, it's preseason, so I get why you're trying to keep Breece Hall out of trouble. But gee, his projection for first week is 14.1. So everyone's a little low. How high were you willing to go, Jackson?
I probably would have ran to that 14, 15. I'm not on that. This whole Allen talk is nonsense. Like, Fields is going to try and take a couple on himself. He'll get smacked by JJ. And then, TJ. And I think he'll hand the pill off quite quickly after, a little Justin Fields into a TJ Watt schmackaroony. And I think Hall will get the beneficiary of that. So I would have gone to 15 on a bit of a gamble here, but I'm quite happy with 12.
Did you just say smackaroony? Oh, I love it.
It's funny. There just hasn't been anyone I've been super interested in that you've brought up. Like, it's just, I'm not surprised I've been unders because it's just like a lot of guys I just haven't drafted or just haven't really put a whole bunch of thought into exactly like whether I liked. I kind of, because I haven't drafted any of them, it makes me assume that I just don't like them. And I just haven't been high on Breece Hall at all this year.
But also, it's week 1. It's 1 week. You're not married to the guy. This is kind of why I thought some of these were compelling, because I'm like, Taylor doesn't own half of these guys. Let's just see what he does.
I don't
I don't think. You were laughing at me for taking Breece as my running back 1 in a league earlier this week, but it was like the 3rd round. Just go easy on me, all right?
I'll never go easy on you, mate.
Last one is a guy I know that you love. This is the problem, Taylor. I've set this up to finish with.
Yeah, I know, but now I'm gonna get the number just like driven high, aren't I?
It's gonna be like 36, 37. It might not be that high because I'm going to the wide receiver world. There's wide receiver is kind of the gift that keeps on giving at the moment. And the player I'm going with is Brian Thomas of the Jags at Carolina. Versus Carolina. They're home to Carolina. Tay, I'm going to give you the opening bid here so you can set the tone, and we'll just see how far Jackson wants to chase you, mate.
How many zeros should I put on this? No. All right, I'm going to start
Where's the decimal point?
I'll start at unlucky 13.
It's a big number.
Yeah, I'm going over 17.
Oh, I love it. I'll go to 18.
I'll take 19. I'll take 19.
It's getting high, isn't it? Fuck.
Is this Jamar Chase or Brian Thomas Jr.?
That's the problem. It's like, I found someone that fucking likes him just as much as I do.
So good.
It's the return of the Prince this year, baby.
Podcast. I'm going 20.
Going 20.
Yeah. That's where we'll cap it, baby.
He lured me into it, and I don't care.
Jackson, I might love you.
Fucking oath. Watch this. Brian Thomas, first drive.
Wow. He is currently projected to get 15.8. So, this is a guy who comes with a fairly big number for wide receiver. He's been drafted in the top 10. Everyone expects the volume to really funnel that way. So I'm not surprised, especially against a team where their secondary is not terrific.
That was the part too. That I'm looking at that whole game. I feel like both defenses are just so bad, and I'm targeting that game for fantasy this week. And I was like, Brian Thomas just fits the bill for me so much. So I'm like, you know what? If I have to take some extra numbers for over, I want to be on the over side of that. It just will feel better.
Yeah, could be 17-13, could be 37-34. Don't know about this game. I love that. So let's summarize this sucker up. We've got Chris Olave. Jackson's got 10 or more to win that one. I kind of feel like that's a slam dunk for you there, Jackson. Don't you feel good about that? 1-0, straight up.
I do. This is for the people this one. We're going one up on the podcast next week, boys. You will be safe.
100%. We then move to Sam Laporta. Jackson again, 12 plus for Sam Laporta. Kind of feels like a bargain, mate.
I'm excited. As a Packers fan, I just know what we're like. I'm excited for it.
I like that. He's straight away. He's like, yeah, fucking okay. Let's just down talk the Packers. This is such a 49ers thing to do is go, oh, yeah, we're terrible, but I desperately need to go 17-0. So we'll see how that washes out. Patrick Mahomes, Tay, you finally got a plus there. You've gone 19 and over for Patrick Mahomes. Nice to see you with a bit of faith in the kind of much derided one.
Thanks, yeah. But faith in someone that I've basically had no faith in draft season. So that's exactly what I should be doing week one. But yeah, look, Xavier Worthy time, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Worthy of your 19 plus. Let's hope that holds up. Breece Hall, Jackson scoops him up on only 12 points. I kind of feel like that might... Mate, I think you've got 2 points straight out of the gate. And I think it's going to be all on Taylor to try and sweep the rest.
I'm excited, mate. I think people are just scared off with this Braylon, Allen, Schmallen. Let's just go. This is Breece's field.
So there's our tipping points. And the last one here, Brian Thomas, tipping point of 20. That's no one's going to be happier in this room than me if Brian Thomas Jr. scoring 20 as a Jags fan. Come on. If he's scoring that many points, we'd probably win in that game. So that is tipping point. Taylor's tipping point. It's like Burjo's catchphrase. It has to be Taylor's tipping point.
There was a little bit of alliteration there on the Taylor's tipping, and then the point just ruined it. So,
no, I'm down with it. Mate, is this kind of how you thought that segment was going to run when you dreamt this up in the shower the other morning?
I think it actually went pretty good. It was a bit of fun. It was banter. It didn't take too long, which is kind of what I wanted. I just wanted it to be a fun sort of quick thing, and it's something else outside of like starts of the week that we do on Sunday that we can keep a track of with the guest. And, I feel like the more things we can do like that, where there's like a little bit of a winner and just like a bit of banter, the better it is.
Yeah. 2 million%.
But I was nervous doing that. I felt like I was watching a live multi or I don't know. I felt like I was auctioning a house off. It was the temptation got me every time.
Oh, I think that segment's going to be a lot of fun, especially once people have now heard how this runs and they may have in their mind as they're coming in, well, what kind of number do I have on which players? Who's going to kind of be a person we think is going to get dragged up? So
it's like Chase Brown against Taylor. I'll start the bidding at fucking 67 points.
I would love to see what your ownership percentage rate of Chase Brown across your leagues is.
I'm going to send that out. I always do that every year, and I think it's even more relevant because I'm in even more leagues this year, like way more because all of Kev's guillotines.
Oh my God, Kev.
So I'm going to do like a bit of stock take and just sort of send out any player I have multiple of. And it's going to astonish you how many Chuba Hubbard and Chase Browns fucking.
Oh my God. Yeah, kind of looking forward to now. I finished my last draft of the season as we were getting ready to come to air tonight. So I'm like, oh God, I need to do the stock take now of who I own the most of as well. That's always going to be fun.
Another great guest is here. Are they up to the standard?
Busier than a one-legged cat in a sandbox, so I am good.
My boy!
Only one way to find out.
This is what the people come here for.
I've heard everyone's answers about these, and I've had to think about it.
5 questions. 2 dickheads. Loading.
Hey, before we wrap up the Friday show, there's something we like to put our guests through, Tay. Do you think Jackson's ready for 5 questions?
Probably not, actually. We've sort of prepped him for everything else, and this is probably one that would have been one if you'd listened to the shows or some of the previous shows that we've done with every single new guest we've had on, or even returning guests. We've even had a second set of 5 questions. But Jackson, we're going to put you through the ringer and basically get you chatting just about yourselves. Obviously, we've been doing a bit of NFL fantasy chat already tonight, but we wanted to do some questions that aren't just about NFL fantasy, but just about, like, I guess, your regular life and some weird, wacky questions that you'll hear as well that gets you thinking, mate. So I hope you enjoy.
I'm nervous. I'm unprepared and I'm nervous. Hopefully I don't lose you some followers here.
That's how we like it.
Yeah, it couldn't be any worse than some of the answers we've already heard, mate. We've set a very low bar.
We'll see.
Well, mate, let's kick this off with I'd like to go the soft pitch for our first timers, mate. And, what's easier to talk about than you? You're the world's foremost expert on Jackson. So, mate, what's something that people probably don't know about you that you think they would find interesting?
I mean, I had a top 10 Australian podcast specifically based on porn. My wife is a very well recognised actress in that world of things, and a lot of people find it very interesting that a man can be involved in such an industry. And, it's go check it out. It is called the Uncensored Podcast. It is very interesting. You'll have your own opinion on that, but it's a different world.
Yeah. We find that everywhere you can get podcasts. Do a bit of plugging.
Everywhere. You'll just don't Google anything, but yeah, find the podcast. You'll be fine.
Not safe for work.
Did you say plugging? Is that something to do with the Uncensored Podcast?
I've been married a very long time. I don't quite know what you mean.
Mate, to be honest, I don't even know what I mean.
That's a lot of how our show works. Wow. So how long have you been part of the podcast, and how does this all happen?
We entered the industry maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, just from sort of, long story short, I was pumping some steroids and I had a stroke. I got quite lucky through the injury of that, but I guess with that all happening, certain parts of my body didn't work for a period of time. So I was like, why don't we do X, Y, Z? And so that's how we kind of entered the world and took off, and she crushed it, and she's phenomenal in that space now, and couldn't be happier. Everything happened for a reason, and it was a weird way to get into it, but I'm just a believer in things happen and you roll with them.
Unbelievable. Way to go lemons, lemonade. I love
exactly.
it. Exactly. Way to just take the bull by the horns. Have you got a nice picture up in the house? Have you taken the bull by the horns, literally, like White Goodman?
I keep the bull in the jocks, baby.
I think I've given you an idea for something for your lounge room wall now.
Because that really happened.
Right?
That really happened, though.
Because that really happened. All right, Tay. Good luck getting a better answer than what I got with you.
I don't know if that's possible, but I don't know. The way Jackson, he might be able to take this in any direction. Who knows? All right, Jackson. If you were in an apocalypse, would you rather fight zombies or aliens?
Oh, good question. I would go a zombie on the basis that they are just, they only know what's in, they can't see, right? They can't, so I can control the outcome a little bit different. I don't know what kind of powers the alien have. I don't know what kind of strength they've got. The zombie is essentially, in a trance. And so unless I give away my position or anything like that, I think I could control how I come about and how I attack the zombie.
Is that a thing they can't see, Tay? I didn't know that.
I'm not the foremost expert on zombie law. Sorry, Matty C, if you thought I was, but it's always interesting just hearing people's ways, because like the whole idea with the aliens, right, is it's unknown, but for some people that's good and some people it's bad. It's like, some people will be like, well, I don't want fucking aliens doing weird shit to me because God knows what that could be. But then other people are like, well, because I don't know what the aliens are, I know what zombies are. Aliens could be these tiny little pieces of shit that I could just boot across the road or something and you wouldn't even know. So it's funny how different people look at it. And it's funny, like, over this entire time we've asked this question, I think it's pretty close, like pretty even between zombies and aliens. Like, surprisingly, I think we thought that zombies might have been winning initially, and then there's actually been a lot of people take aliens as well.
Now you say it like that, I guess I was just thinking alien have like, they've got. I think they've got better technology than we have. I think
Everyone
they've got the brain. They've got the brains, right? So if I smash a little one, he's going to have someone big come after me. Whereas the zombies, I think And worst case, if they attack you, don't you just become one of them? So it's like, at least I'm still around. Whereas the alien, God knows where I'll be, So I'm basing this off just that Brad Pitt movie I've seen, and then The Walking Dead. These kind of TV shows is the only intel I've got on zombies, but that's how I'm operating.
We're just relying on people's adoption of what they think the zeitgeist on these things are, and just roll with it. I mean, we had somebody introduce the idea that, well, if you're zombies, then maybe they're all just the living dead, right? They're people who used to be people, and some of the people you've known in your life have died. So maybe someone that you're now faced with, it's me or them, but it's actually somebody who was important to me. And that kind of becomes a moral quandary. But also then with the zombies, with the aliens, it can be like, oh, fuck, if they're all like Kyler Murray, Marvin the Martians, am I actually scared of 1400 Marvin the Martians? No, I can fend them off like toddlers. Like you can kind of interpret these things how you will. That's kind of been the fun of it is, well, what's your interpretation of these things?
Well, when you say alien, I just think the movie, right? Like, the Alien versus Predator type of alien, which is, I don't want to fuck with one of them.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. This is how a lot of us make us through high school. There's not one to fuck with things that we don't, think we could conquer in one simple swoop. Mate, I'm going to move on to the next one. Your favourite NFL team. I brought this up a little bit earlier in the show, is that you've got a strong allegiance to a team. Talk us through it and how'd you find them?
I am a Green Bay Packer boy, and it was pretty simple. I discovered NFL in 2005 with one of my friends. We got the first ever Madden at that time. We were the first Madden that we could get our hands on. And we just said we'll push the randomization button, and whoever it gives us in our head-to-head match is who we're going to support.
Awesome.
And I got Green Bay, and have a guess who he got? Fucking New England. Well, what a period it's been for him. But
holy
I stuck true, and I suffered the depression of watching him do what he got to enjoy. But we still got a Super Bowl, so I'm quite happy with that.
And I assume that guy no longer watches NFL.
Mate, he's a diehard. He's annoying, and he's a diehard.
He stuck through.
He stuck through.
I like this.
He's a true believer. So at the time, I thought I had one up on him, but then this guy called Tom Brady came in and ruined the rest of my schooling career. But we're all good.
Fucking hell! How about that say?
No,
the random button gave him that, and look at what we've got.
I've definitely got some Packer and Patriots fans in my life, mate, so I definitely know how both sides feel.
We both chose our teams. We did the research and we chose our teams. And look at what these guys get when they hit just random. I kind of feel cheated.
It is kind of similar, though, because I had literally picked the Titans because, it was kind of a mix of that time period where, remember the Titans, the movie came out, but also I was playing, NFL 2K2 or something back in 2002, and I basically just I started a season, and then I picked the Titans because I liked their logo, and then I got in there and I just fucking loved Eddie George and Steve McNair. They were just my absolute guys, and then obviously I started getting into watching the games more, and then that just kept me involved with the Titans, and I absolutely love that dynamic duo between them. So I've just stuck with the Titans ever since, and it's not exactly brought me a lot of wins or a lot of great seasons, but for a while there they were at least pretty competitive. Obviously had some times where they were going AFC Championship games and stuff, so it could have been worse, really. I know it's horrendous now, but things seem to be turning a little bit. So
Really?
Look, I'm not exactly the Patriots years or anything like that, but I kind of like sometimes being a fan of a team that just sort of, hasn't really risen to the top yet, because it makes it all sweeter when they do. If they do, I suppose.
No one can accuse us of being on bandwagons. That's the thing, right? It's if our team succeed, it's I can't even say that guy's on the bandwagon. We know he is that horrible team for the last 17 years. We know it. So it's
Man, at least you gave Derrick Henry and AJ Brown a better home, right? So you've done some sort of community service.
And honestly, I've said this a million times on the podcast to Matty C. I am so happy for those guys, and I hope they give Tennessee a giant middle finger every time they play against them or in any situation, because they did those guys dirty. It wasn't the other way around. And honestly, I love both of those guys. And if anything, I take them in fantasy more because they're on other teams, because I know my Tennessee Titans aren't going to ruin them with some shitty offensive line or something.
Yeah, for me, it's
makes you wonder though, Cam Ward with AJ Brown, Derrick Henry, Calvin Ridley, you'd be pretty sexy.
Oh, it'd be fucking awesome. But then you got to think about the hodgepodge of old receivers we had in between Ridley and fucking AJ Brown. I don't know what would have happened.
Haven't you had Robert Woods, Julio Jones? Haven't you had some really good wide receivers there? Just
DeAndre Hopkins.
turn into zombies. We were talking about zombies earlier.
Yeah, exactly. We are the Walking Dead.
It was my team. When a guy like Allen Robinson or DJ Shark has a good year and then fucks off some team, like they're dead to me when they're gone. Fuck them.
I'm kind of looking forward to this next question. I reckon we could get something good out of Jackson. It's kind of a funny one on the spot, though. It kind of takes some time. Mine didn't take time to come to me because I blurted out the stupidest thing in my head ever when I was put under this pressure of 5 questions. But I'll go with the 4th question here. Jackson, what would you put on your NFL fantasy Tinder profile to lure a potential mate?
Are we talking mate as in opposite sex or like a friend mate?
Hey, not here to judge.
No,
like,
yeah.
Am I luring a mate to a league, or are you talking she's
the idea is like initially the whole idea with this was like a tagline, like I said, like on top of your profile, it's like what's like a one-liner you would say essentially that would be at the top of your Tinder profile, but NFL fantasy related.
Matty C, 42, handy with handcuffs. You know, like that's kind of where we're going.
That is
Taylor. I don't know how old he is. Seaman?
I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, but I got put under that question and I didn't know it was coming. Coming is probably the right word. And then I decided to blurt out, is that paint? No, it's CM Seaman. So
a white paint on your pants? No.
Basically, the bar could not be low. Like, basically, a gnome could step over the bar right now. So, I'm sure Matty might be able to. If I just
Matty C, 42, you're barclaying up the wrong tree. Like, you know, it's. I know that's some examples of us being tools.
Mate, you got me stumped. I wouldn't even know what to say.
We also had someone say that and just go, mate, I can't think of anything. And then they thought of something in the next question. It's like, so if you want to go with that and like let it simmer for a bit, that's also fine.
Okay. Then come back.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably something wankish along the lines of, something about being 6'6", and if you swipe left, I can sprinkle a little Bijan mayonnaise on you or something like that. I don't know how we'd operate.
That's more than enough.
That sounded cheesy enough for me. We all like a little Bijan mayo, don't we?
We do. Oh, we do. Especially from that height.
Don't get too close. We get a little Stafford injection. A few little things like that.
Oh, keep going. He's adding to it.
Okay. You are not allowed to stop
swiping. They call me the Ibiza boss, baby. Don't worry.
The Ibiza boss. It's going in the episode title, by the way. It's week 1 with the Ibiza boss. That's it.
Give him a couple of minutes. He can do anything.
We're going to come back to this question in 3 minutes to see what else has happened.
My brain's rattling now. I couldn't think of anything. Now they're just going.
You write the rest down and we'll talk about them on the Sunday show. I want to wrap this on up with a nice easy one. You've been playing fantasy for quite some time now and been pretty involved with NFL Total for some time now. Mate, this one, it turns out, is often a question which comes with a great story. But who is your favourite NFL fantasy player to have ever owned all time?
Ooh, I want to think outside the box. I don't want to be boring.
Often it's someone who drags you to a championship or has this crazy streak who just kind of, impresses you because you just kind of got on them early. Or a guy, I even had someone who came on who said that he was their favorite fantasy player because he got him almost there and then he disappointed the shit out of him in the second half of his grand final. But he kind of can't hold a grudge. The range is high.
I mean, the obvious one is, in my biggest fantasy league, highest cash buy-in, longest drafting one, I did get Josh Allen quite late in the rookie draft, and obviously since then, he's turned out to be a pretty handy one. But the all-time favorite probably would have been I got Jordy Nelson way back in it was like an 11th or 12th round when he was Aaron's go-to guy, and there was a league where he won me. I lost the grand final, but I won this. I was 40 points down in the prelim to get to the granny. And Geordie just went absolutely ballistic in the last game of the round on a Tuesday against against Chicago, Arizona, one of those teams. And Geordie just got me a 42 piece, and I've never forgotten it. Never forgot it. Aaron just launched to him and it got me to the granny and then I lost. But the memory stick.
Geordie was Devontae before Devontae, right? He was. Yeah.
He was fun back then. I didn't understand fantasy as well back then. I was still like, I didn't understand NFL. We didn't have access to Game Pass and all that stuff like we do now. So I was still sort of just running off a whim as like maybe a bit biased there. But yeah, there was one game where him and Aaron just went nuts for me.
Mate, we have got to the end of our Friday show. That is going to be a nice, big, meaty Friday show. The Sunday show we will be back for because we need to get in the mailbag. So send us your questions and get Taylor41 on Instagram, get at MATTY Podcast. You can also go to the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show on Facebook and Instagram. Get your questions in there, especially start sit very big at this time of year. Our drafts are done. Our Friday show is done. Looking forward to having you back on Sunday show, Jackson. Thank you so much for agreeing to come and join us. Has it been all right? You're not too traumatized?
It's been good, boys. It's been good. I'm excited. I'm trying to recap everything I've said. Hopefully I've shared some positives. Hopefully the listeners have had a laugh and, I haven't shot myself in the foot here, but all in all, it's been great.
It's been our pleasure, mate.
He basically is doing what I do after every single recording where I can't remember a fucking thing I've said. So, basically, when Matty's like, the podcast is airing in 2 days, I'm like, shit, this is going to be amazing. It's like I'm hearing it for the first time because I just have this weird podcast amnesia. So, mate, if you're feeling it, Jackson, don't worry. I've done, how many shows have we done, Matty? 500?
Yeah.
Don't worry. Even when you've done that many, it doesn't seem to go away. You've probably done a shitload on your podcast anyway as well, Jackson.
Yeah, mate, my wife always pulls me up. I say things because in my brain they're also harmless and I'm meaning them in such the right way, but then I forget that other people interpret things totally different. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know if that's happened tonight. Hopefully it hasn't.
No,
I don't know that there's a wrong way you can interpret things on this show. We've kind of gone the whole fantasy football meets breakfast radio, morning zoo thing. So I don't know that there's a lot of places that are off limits.
Good. It's all from love. That's all that matters.
100%. Mate, I'm going to love having you back on the Sunday show. Tay, we will also be back on the Sunday show. For those across the network who are going to spend a bit of time with us, don't forget the Supercoach Half happened yesterday. Mate, that show has gone gangbusters.
Mate, the support I've had has been phenomenal. I put out another post, we're doing a mailbag on that show. So looking for next week, because obviously mailbag might even be even more relevant during the season, obviously talking matchups and everything. So we'll be delving into all of that, talking about the break evens of players and who's the best guy with the lowest break even. And it sort of switches a little bit into the regular season from some of the stuff we were talking about with the rankings of the positions. So we can't wait to sink our teeth into that, mate. And I'm sure we'll blow through the half like we do every other time and basically take a hot, steamy piss on that name. So if anyone wants to come and listen to a half an hour show that takes an hour, we're here for you.
Oh, yeah, mate, that is what we do. Disrespecting the clock. High on our... We are like Mike Tomlin when it comes to clock management.
Might be an hour and a half.
Absolute garbage. The G'day Gridiron guys are around tomorrow. They're going to kick off week 1 in style, and we love that. It's Ian, Brad, Isaac, and of course, Nick, our Aussie gridiron player from the University of SA Hogs, who he represented Australia earlier this year. It's a great lineup there of the guys on G'day Gridiron. Then we're back on Sunday, so come and join us. You can find us everywhere thanks to the Linktree _Aussie Gridiron Network. Simple as that. Aussie Gridiron Network. Go find it. There's a tipping competition and everything that you can find across the network. There's a merch store where you can get a nice foreskinning shirt like the one I'm wearing tonight. We've been doing some foreskinning. We are foreskinning the Sunday show. We'll catch you all then. Hooroo, lads.
Thanks, boys.
Ahoy. Week 1's almost here. Let's go.
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. Thanks to the Aussie Gridiron Network, Australia's home for NFL and Australian gridiron content. Discover everything the network has to offer, including G'day Gridiron, Pastry Press, NFL, and Aussie Gridiron Today. Buy merch and win free stuff. Visit the mothership at Linktree /Aussie Gridiron Network. Hooroo.